Hello, beautiful people of the world. Yes, it is Black History Month, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, for today, I want to talk about a little bit of history for you guys because it is Black History Month, as everyone knows, and I just want to be a little light for this occasion. And yeah, let's get this started. So you guys know the original Black History Month, you know, the things that a lot of people talk about, whether it's Martin Luther King or Rosa Parks or Jesse Owens or, you know, things like that. So it's like I'm just going to think about that. You guys already know this. I'm not going to talk about that today. What I want to talk about is the LGBT and queer community and how not a lot of people want to talk about it, basically. I just want to get to the nitty gritty and give you guys some like good facts on what is like the truth, you know, the story behind, you know, the Martin Luther Kings or the story behind the Harlem Renaissance, like the movements that has happened in civil rights in general. You know, I want to talk about the hard hitting core facts. And so basically this is what this is about and I'm not bashing anyone or anything. I'm just saying that the credit needs to be basically due, basically when it's due. So that's what I'm going to talk about today and my opinions on it as well. So the two things that I'm going to talk about in this first part of the series is the Harlem Renaissance and the Stonewall. So the Harlem Renaissance, as you guys know, is a movement that started from the South. You know, a lot of the African Americans and Latinos wanted to migrate more north because they wanted better lives and have freedom and basically wanting to start a new life and have jobs to work. But this is not that story that we're going to talk about. Like I said earlier, it is basically the other movement of the Harlem Renaissance, which is basically a thing that a lot of people don't know about. So this is the underground of the Harlem Renaissance. These people were LGBTQ, Latinos, and African Americans that basically they wanted to show their sexual identities, and the only way they could do that is basically being in secret. So this is what I wanted to talk about today and basically show you guys the facts that I've picked up from different resources. So just to name a few people like Moms Mabley and Gladys Bentley and Ma Rainey and Langston Hughes, these people have paved the way basically with their types of forms, whether it was poetry, fashion, comedy, and just standing out and doing different types of just basically entertainment for people just in general. These people have just expressed their feelings and emotions of what they were going through just to make way for other people. They did not care what other people think, in my interpretation. This is not what I actually know. I'm just saying it in my type of voice, what I thought of it. And basically, it's just crazy how even, you know, at a time where it was the mid 1900s, 1800s, you know, these like people that basically helped create our generations and future generations type of foundation of what it is to be queer and be proud about it and out about it, even though they couldn't basically show it, but they have different types of outlets that makes it easier for them to express themselves. So it was really cool to hear their music and see what they have done. And also during the 1920s, we had drag. Okay, so a lot of people know drag starting in probably the 1600s with kabuki and Japanese culture, but the African Americans that I know this because of Paris is Burning. Basically, you should watch Paris is Burning because it's a good way of showing you our type of drag that we kind of do now. So basically, it is basically people being fierce and competitive and showing their way of interpreting their fashion and craze and different entertainment, and it's really a really good movie. But also another thing is this article from the Smithsonian that I'll link down below as well that talks about it, and it's really awesome to show how drag has changed throughout the years. Basically, with Main Street Society, it was illegal to do drag. You know, a lot of men couldn't dress as women because it was frowned upon, and it still kind of is today as we are still going on, and I'll talk about that as well. But basically, it is kind of a thing that not a lot of people are proud of men doing, which that's okay. And I understand that it takes time for people to learn about that, as well as, you know, people taking themselves back and knowing their roots as well. And so basically, it is what I'm trying to say is that a lot of them were called perverts, and basically they were freaks and frocks with a wig, as they called it. But basically, it was just their interpretation on what they thought was beautiful and what they thought that is a creation that they have made and things like that. So it's just hard to, you know, think about the times of. So I'm going to read this quote. Don't judge me by this look and this angle, okay? So basically, what I'm about to say is that we are a revolutionary homosexual group of men and women formed with the realization that complete sexual liberation for all people cannot come about unless existing social institutions are abolished. We reject society's attempt to oppose sexual roles and definitions of our nature. We are stepping outside these roles and simplistic myths. We are going to be who we are. At the same time, we are creating new social forms and relations, that is, relations based upon brotherhood, cooperation, human love, and uninhibited sexuality. Babylon has forced us to commit ourselves to one thing: revolution. So what I wanted to start with this was because of it being the 50-year anniversary of Stonewall, and this is one of the quotes that someone put anonymously, basically, and it was a good quote. So I wanted to start out by saying that this is what society is still coming to, you know, basically not a lot of people are believing in their beliefs, and so I wanted to show you that even though they are basically getting these deaths of, you know, and trying to basically, it's just hard. It's just hard on this because it's really a touchy subject. I wanted to get comfortable for this one because I wanted to talk about one of the icons during Stonewall and AIDS crisis, which is from the 60s to the 80s, and I will talk more about the 80s in the next video. But basically, I wanted to talk about Marsha P. Johnson, a icon and a adversary for the gays and transsexuals and things like that. So basically, I think I was probably 16 when I first knew about her, and, you know, she died when it was about 1992. So yeah, basically, she was one of the people that paved the ways for the Stonewall riots, basically, because, you know, she was basically saying that, like, a lot of people weren't getting the rights that they deserved, and it's time for basically us to stand up and fight what we believe in. And, you know, her and her friend Sylvia, I can't think of Sylvia's last name, but there's also a movie on Netflix, I think, that's still out because it was like 2017, but it's like the death of Marsha P. Johnson, I think, something around that lines, but it's a really good one. I've watched it. So, yeah, I think you guys should probably be interested in if you want to know more about her and what she believed in and things like that and her fights against these types of different times and crises and different revolutions basically, then you should look into it. Basically, Marsha was an icon to the gay people because she fought for herself as well as others, and we are basically going to talk about things like what I know from this day and age, as in the 90s and up, as well as the AIDS crisis, as well as trans lives and what society is doing right now. And so that's going to be in the second part of this series. And I am just so excited to finally get this out and show you guys what I am believing in, basically, and what I am fighting for. So I am just so excited to show you guys some more things like that. So stay tuned, and I am Alan Lenz, and thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, then leave a comment like I say every time, and basically subscribe to my channel because there is a lot more fun things that I'm going to do. I am doing, like I said in the last video, I am going to do an Ariana Grande review on her newest album that she's coming out, Thank You Next. And that will probably be by the end of this week, and I think so it would be around the 10th, I want to say. So yeah, and Valentine's Day is coming up, so I'm going to also do a little makeup tutorial for you guys, for those beautiful women out there that want to do some Valentine's Day type of makeup for your mans. So by that, I just want to say that everyone is beautiful, and I am going to end this here. So thank you guys for watching.